Start your business for the freedom of time. Now you're tired of the hustle and grind. There's gotta be a better way. It's time to listen to Chill and Prosper. Welcome to Chill and Prosper. You're ready to chill and prosper with Denise Duffield-Thomas.
Hey there, gorgeous. It's Denise here, and welcome to this week's episode of Chill and Prosper, when we are talking about ageism and feeling like you've missed out and feeling FOMO. I'm so excited to talk about this one because I have absolutely, as I've gotten older, I'm in my mid-40s now, there has been times where I felt like, well, my time is done, make way for the new chickens in town. And I've really got some thoughts on this. Okay, so yeah, a question came in. It said, how do you stop feeling like you're too old to go after your dreams or run a business? What if you feel like you've missed out on your opportunities? The thing that I want to say, and I don't have a name on this, it was an anonymous one, is that there will never be an age where you feel like you don't have imposter syndrome at some level. There will never be an age where you feel like, yes, I'm like 100% ready to go. And this is true for every single age, right? So when I was like 28, I remember saying to one of my mentors and going, I feel so behind. And they were like, what? And I was like, I'm 28. I'm going to be 30 in 2 years. I'm not a millionaire. And they were just looking at me like, oh my God. And that is something that I felt at so many ages, right? Of like, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough. There's never going to be a perfect time, especially when you're a woman. I have to say this. I've seen this in politics where it's like, women are too young, they're too young, now that you're too old. And there's never a perfect age to be a woman in politics, for example, or in leadership. And I would say that we have to be very mindful, and I know not everyone listening to this is a woman or identifies as a woman, but we all have to be mindful about the stories that we are telling ourselves about this, that we're not the right age, because it's really not about age. It's like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not, sexy enough, I don't have the right voice, I don't have the right skin color, I don't have the right credentials, I don't have the right background, I don't have the right degree. And we are thankfully living in an age where there is more representation. Not enough, I know this, right? And so you have to just go, why not me? Why not me? Because no one's really watching and no one's really caring. And a lot of industries now, because we have the internet, because we have low barriers to entry for most businesses, no one can really stop you. Yes, there's still discrimination in so many industries, right? No one can stop you from creating a podcast. They might stop you from going on TV. There could be barriers there, but you can start a podcast. You can self-publish a book. Literally no one can stop you. And so we have to harness those opportunities, right? Now, when it's like too old to go after your dreams. Okay, I sometimes get those ads for masterclass, that portal where they have all the different classes and lots of different people. And Martha Stewart's ad, she starts like, I started my first business when I was 50 years old. And that, for me, I'm always like, oh my God, why do I think like I've got to do everything now? I've got so much time. And like, I'm in a phase of kids stuff, right? Yes, I've created a lot of success, but like, I've definitely slowed down my business dreams and my empire building dreams at this phase of life where my kids need me. It's very busy. They've got a lot of bloody activities. And so I look at that and go, oh my God, I've got so much time. And it makes me calm down a little bit to still do my work. It's not like I'm stopping and procrastinating, but just to go, oh, I've got decades of this left to go. This is so great. There's so many more ideas to come and juiciness, and it feels really good to do that. So my lesson on that is to make sure that you are seeing the possibilities to come, not just looking at the ones in the past. Okay. I went to see Jane Fonda speak in Sydney And it was really profound because she's 87. She's had a really, really long career. She's been famous a long time. And she was still saying, there's still much to come, still so many good things to come. I'm so excited about projects. I still want to work. I still want to do things. I still want to do new things. And it was so inspiring because she would be looking at me, even though I'm sometimes thinking, oh, I'm 45, I can't be bothered. I'm too tired. She'd be looking at me going, babe, you're only halfway, right? She would be looking at women in their 60s going, hon, you've got decades to come. Like, what are you talking about? And that makes me feel so good to see women who are older than me. And so I think we have to take responsibility of this and make sure we're curating our social media feeds, our consumption of what success is supposed to look like, and to make sure that we're seeing lots of different people doing it. Okay. And I had this exact conversation with my mastermind where some of us were feeling that feeling of going, a lot of us have been in this industry a long time. We're seeing all these new whippersnappers come in and they've got fresh energy and they're selling the same thing, but people are excited because it feels fresh. They've got fresh batteries. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And I really came back and looked at my social media feed too. And I was thinking, I need to make sure I'm following people of all ages, right? All different ages. So I can see, oh, there's someone ahead of me. Oh, there's someone who, like, they're in their startup phase. And that's why they've got fresh batteries. And I was hanging out with someone and I could just tell, like, she's just got so much hunger. And at first it made me feel bad, right? Because I was like, oh man, look how much excitement and inspiration and energy she has for her business. And it made me feel like, yeah, okay, maybe I should just, step aside and let someone like that come in. And then I went, no, she's inspired by what I've built from my success. And I can see that she is in the empire building phase of her life and she needs to have that energy. Because when you're really and truly empire building, you kind of need to be a little bit like a bit delusional, but you need to be trying lots of things. You need to be, you just need to have that energy sometimes to do it. And so I felt like, oh, it's a circle of life. I'm where I am and she's where she is for a reason. I don't need to be in that space anymore in this phase of life, right? I might bring it again later on when my kids are older, but I was just like, oh, it is the circle of life. This feels really great. The other thing too, so regular listeners know that I do a lot of ballet and I go to an adults only ballet studio. And this was a life-changing thing for me too, because as an adult, it's really hard to get good training that's not an afterthought or being put in classes with much younger people. So I have done adults classes where I'm like the granny and they're 16 and like they've just got the flexibility, they've got the ligaments, they've got fresh knees, like it's all just right. And it made me feel so old and daggy. And I actually remember when I was like a teenager dancing, occasionally we'd have an adult come to our class and we'd be like, that's so dorky, because they'd have like dorky shoes or they'd have like their fashion would be like dorky, and we'd be like, oh, they're so cute, they're dorky. And so being in an environment that is dedicated for adults has allowed me to feel that excellence, feel good about my body, feel good about my progress, not comparing myself to someone who has a completely different physiology than me, who hasn't had 3 kids. That has been life-changing, right? So surrounding yourself by people who are in the same phase of life, the same game as you, allows you to normalize it, and you can feel like, I'm right on track. I'm right where I need to be. And then we had an interesting experience where we have a lot of photo shoots at my dance studio, which again I love, because so many people feel like, oh, I've got photos of me as a young dancer, but not where I am now. And one of the ladies, like I'll say to everyone, oh, you coming to the photo shoot? And I'll often get women who are in their 60s and they'll go, oh no, I don't want to. No, I'm too old now for that. And I'm like, one, you are beautiful, like you are so beautiful. But 2, you're not getting any younger. Like none of us are getting any younger, right? So whenever I've like declined to be in a photo shoot, I always regret it a little bit, because I go, imagine me looking at these photos 20 years from now. I'll be like, oh my God, you were so young. You were so beautiful. Why didn't you appreciate it? And we sometimes can't in that moment, right? So it's really great to capture where you are in your phase of life. For so many different reasons, but also because we're not getting any younger. Like, this is it. This is who we are right now. And so I'm always encouraging, like, it's okay to take up space. It's okay to be visible. It's okay to show yourself. It's okay to capture who you are right now. Yeah, that's super powerful. Now, I have a really big tangent to go on around this about capturing where you are, about missing out on opportunities and FOMO. But I need to take a quick break. Okay. So I'll see you in a sec after this very short ad break, which is just me talking about my programs and testimonials. Okay. See you in a sec.
It's your time and you're ready for the next step. It's your time and you're ready for the next step. It's your time and you're totally ready for the next step. So many times we are waiting for the perfect moment, for all of the green lights, or for someone else to tap us on the shoulder and say, you're ready. But it has to come from inside you, and you can declare yourself ready now. Put your hand on your heart and try it with me. It's my time and I'm ready for the next step. If you know deep in your heart, even if you're scared, that you're ready to let go of some of your money fears and finally profit from your skills and talents, it's time to get to work. Your next step is to come and join us in Money Bootcamp. You can work with me as your money mindset mentor and join our beautiful community so you can really give yourself permission to make money and change the world. Click below to find out more, but don't wait any longer. Come and join us today. We're ready for you and it's your time and you're ready for the next step.
Okay, welcome back. So we're talking about feeling like you've missed out on your opportunities, feeling like you're too old to do things. And of course, in the first half, we talked about having role models who are older, making sure that you're in appropriate groups, and being really clear about your place in the circle of life sometimes, and every single one of those is valid. Okay, so this whole thing about missing out on opportunities. Some of you might know about some of my books. So my first businessy book that I wrote was called Lucky Bitch. And I wrote that in 2012. And then I wrote Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and then Chill and Prosper is my most recent one. And so I look back at Lucky Bitch and I just want to rip the whole thing apart. And I will do an update on that soon because they do, books do get a little bit out of date sometimes. But I know that if I start doing that, I'll want to rip apart the whole thing. Because the context of when I wrote that, I didn't have any kids. And I would say, yes, I was connected to people online and stuff like that, but my social consciousness wasn't as it is now, right? And my eyes have just been opened just to so many different people's experiences, and just as I've learned more and grown up and been very aware of my privilege, and just a lot more things, and not just from having kids, but just I'm just older now than when I wrote that book. And so part of me wants to, as a 45-year-old woman with kids who has seen a bit more of the world, wants to go back to that 30-year-old, basically, who wrote that book and write it from my perspective. And that would be the wrong thing to do. Because when you write a book, you are capturing your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, especially if it's nonfiction, what you know at that time. And you can't recreate that. So there is a part of that book that is a bit naive and a bit like I don't know, optimistic, a bit Pollyanna-ish in a way. But sometimes people need that, right? It serves a purpose. It serves a purpose for someone who needs to read that at that time. If I come into it now, I feel like I would put too many caveats in there. I'd be like, yes, but you could try this, but you could also try this. I feel like there's a little bit more world weariness would go into that book now, just to be honest. And so it would be a mistake to go back and change that book because it is perfectly imperfect for that version of myself who wrote it. Similarly, if I write another book, it will be of its time and my experiences up to that time. And when I hear people criticize memoirs or even books in general, where they'll go, oh, when I wrote those first books, oh, aren't you a bit too young to write a book? And I was like 30. I'm like, am I don't know. And I felt that imposter syndrome. And you just think, well, okay, you can only write the book that you can write at that time in your life. And I think it was maybe someone saying about someone young in their 20s, like, I can't believe they're writing a memoir. Like, what life experience have they got? But that's not the point. If you're writing your book at 80 or 90, you're going to look back on those experiences with very rose-colored glasses. You're going to omit things. You're going to forget things. You're going to rationalize it in a different way because you're a different person. And so people deserve to get the raw, unfiltered version of who you are right now. Okay, so if a young person is writing a book from their experiences up to then, young people are going to get a lot out of it because they'll feel like it's really real and relevant to their experience from someone who's in it, not someone who's looking back and changing things. There'll be someone who, like, when you read a book, like for me now, you read a book that is someone falling in love for the first time and you go, oh my God, I remember that feeling. So it's a gift to people who are older as well to remember those feelings that they felt when they were young and didn't know everything. So that's super powerful and that's relevant as well. You can't go back and write that. And so think about where you are right now and what experiences and things that you're like going through right now, whether it's like kids or chronic illness or dealing with family stuff or the age that you're at, menopause, perimenopause. Like, write what you know right now, because someone really, really needs to hear that in real time from someone who is in it. And you might only be a couple of years out of it, but you can speak to it. You know what it feels like in your body. And I often think that with like with business coaching, sometimes people will ask me to help them with their business. And one, I don't do one-to-one coaching. It's not my skill set. I'm not great at it. But also, there are some things that I do not remember. I don't remember and appreciate about that newness in business, that fear that's always there. And so sometimes you could work with someone that's just only a little bit ahead of you because their experiences might be more relevant. There'll be some tech things I don't know anything about anymore. And so I wouldn't be the best person for that. Does that make sense? And so then that way you can, once you realize that, you go, I'm always the perfect age for what I'm working on right now. I'm not trying to be anything to anyone else. I'm not trying to capture something that I've already done. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself by being all the wisdom of my life to put in this one project. And I will often say that to myself, you're going to write so many books and you can't write them all in this phase of your life because you haven't experienced the things that need to go in that book yet. You don't know enough to write that book that's supposed to be 20 years down the track yet. And so it's like, it's always the perfect timing for myself right now. And the affirmation that I've shared so many times on this podcast and in my courses is, it's my time and I'm ready for the next step. And you can really break that down to make each part of it meaningful you at different times of your life. It's my time. It's my time to do the things that I didn't do before, or maybe I've got more time now because my kids are older, or it is my time to stop procrastinating. It's my time. I'm not waiting for external things. I'm not waiting for other people to tell me you're ready, because they will never tell you. They'll never tell you it's the right time, right? You have to decide. There'll always be someone who thinks you're too young at any age. There'll always be someone who thinks you're too old at any age, right? It's my time and I'm ready. I don't care if other people aren't ready for it or they don't think it. I'm ready for the next step. And the next step could just be literally the next baby step, but it's also reminding yourself that I don't have to do all of the things. I don't have to write all of the books of my career. I don't have to do all of the creative projects that are going to come. It is my time and I'm ready for the next step. I think it's just a really powerful reminder that you've only got now. The other part of feeling like you're too old, I really vacillate between there's so much time and just get it done. right? And so I don't even know what advice to give you on that, right? Because it's that advice of like, there's no time like the present, just like make it happen. And that is true. And where do you balance it? Like, there's time, and relax and let it unfold. I think the line is, are you procrastinating on something that is a calling or repetitive thing for you? You can't let it go. That, I think that is where the line is, right? Because there's some things that if someone had to say to you, no, you're not allowed to do that, you'd go, oh, thank God, I don't want to do it. But there will be some things that will be like, I can't let that go. Haunting me. I need to fulfill it somehow. I think that's where the line is, right? And then you're responsible for dealing with your feelings of imposter syndrome around it. Don't get advice from other people. Don't poll your friends and like, no, you are responsible for dealing with your feelings. So, as I said, curate your social media feed. Make sure you're seeing examples. Surround yourself with people who are in the appropriate phase for you, right? So you don't feel like you're too young, too old. You don't feel like you're too slow, too fast. It's appropriate for you, right? So the right mentor, the right business group, the right social group, the right whatever it is. And get what you need. So sometimes we need accountability. Sometimes we need inspiration. Sometimes we need know-how. Sometimes we need hand holding. Sometimes we need space holding. Sometimes we need to hire someone to do the thing for us. And yeah, there are no rules. There are no rules. We can be the one. Yeah, so if there's that dream that's just knocking, like, time's going to go by anyway, right? If you think, oh, but if I do a course or a retrain, it's going to be a couple of years until, well, that time's going to go by anyway. And I've heard this from someone who, didn't jump on an opportunity. She would have finished it by now, like a degree. She would have absolutely, she'd be long finished it by now. She's still procrastinating, thinking she's too old to do it or she's not ready. And you can't do that. Cannot do it. All right, cool. One final thought for you after the break.
So I have done the Money Bootcamp, and I love this. Oh gosh, there's so many things I could share, but one of the things I loved is the incremental upgrades and the idea that you're like, you start slow with the upgrades and it feels like it's going really slowly, and then all of a sudden it'll just be massive. And I just went, oh, okay, well, all right, let me do it. So the first thing I did was I got sunglasses, which I had a really beautiful pair of sunglasses like 8 years ago. And then one day I sat on them and I was like, that's it. Like, you're never getting any good sunglasses again. You don't deserve it because you just sat on this, and that's it. You're too responsible for it. So then I always had these crappy sunglasses, but I love sunglasses. So I got these sunglasses and I got 2 pairs. And actually the less expensive pair was an Anchor that I started having, because they're like rose gold and they just like make me feel like hot and like I got my shit together. And, I've got this selfie of myself where every time I'm feeling a bit like wobbly, I'll look at that and be like, yeah, okay. So, I upgraded that and like just did the course, and then literally within probably six to 12 months at the very most, I think it was less than that, we bought the apartment next door. We have done an entire renovation of the whole place within a year, and it was like it started so small and then it just went like these massive opportunities came up that would never have been there before. So that's been incredible, and really just also like as a female, it never occurred to me that it's not a common thing to be like not only a breadwinner, but like running a company. And I was just like, oh, this is just what you do. And then just realizing there are so many things that you face that are not only you, like whether it be the tax thing or whether it be, oh, I can't make more money than like the male figures in my family. And like, just doing all that work to like see what's in the way, the negative consequences. Yeah, has made a really big difference with that. So yeah.
Okay, so I love this affirmation. Apparently, JLo says it to herself, and it's, I am ageless and timeless. Okay, I read it in some magazine. I am ageless and timeless. And I think that is a really powerful one for us to harness for ourselves. And as I've been saying that to myself too over the last couple of years, I've felt younger in myself and my dreams and my excitement than I have in a long time. And I think part of that too is I've always felt older than my age as a kid. I felt world weary and a lot of responsibility, and felt like I was, people say, oh, you're very mature for your age and you're an old soul and whatever. And I always felt like I was kind of like a 40-year-old in a little kid's body. And then since I turned 40, I feel like my age has started to reverse. And some of that has been connecting with my inner child, allowing myself to do things that bring me joy, going to ballet, finding the right ballet studio, as I said, allowing myself to be silly with things and dress up and make things and like do painting classes and cross stitch and diamond art, and just doing things for the fun of it has really helped me connect with my inner child, and realizing it doesn't matter how old my outside gets. I feel like I'm allowing myself to express that beautiful creativity that I feel like will keep me young for a long time, even if I don't always look it in the future. So I'm ageless and timeless. And then when you do that, you give yourself permission to want what you want, do what you want, be who you want. No one cares. No one's watching. So you can just decide to do the thing. You're not too old to do anything that you want to do. Anything. I'm following this lady at the moment. I can't remember her name. She's like moved to New York to be a Broadway star. You know, she stopped dancing when she was young, and she just posts the most joyful things, and it's beautiful. You know, so you're allowed to. No one can stop you. And my mum, what she's been really good at, she was always kind of the youngest, and she's always like the bubbliest of her friendship group. And I honestly kind of thought she'd grow out of that. And then she just keeps on moving to communities. Like she just moved to a retirement community where she's the young one again. And I love that. She has such a youthful spirit that's got nothing to do with her outside. And she's traveling, she's doing all these things. And I'm like, it is really important to make sure that you always see yourself as the exact right age for where you are in your life. Because you are, right? Okay, I hope that's inspired you to let go of that as an excuse. I'm ageless and timeless. All right, cool. We'll see you on next week's episode of Chill and Prosper. Take care. Bye.
Start your business for the freedom of time. Now you're tired of the hustle and grind. There's gotta be a better way. It's time to listen to Chill and Prosper. Welcome to Chill and Prosper. You're ready to chill and prosper with Denise Duffield-Thomas.